Man, you ain't even subscribed yet. You want me to fucking talk to you? Ladies and gentlemen, Crown of Thoughts, Captain's Log. Double A, your host for Crown of Thoughts. What's today's episode about? Let's dive right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Again with some, it's gonna touch on addiction, which has been a theme here. And it's just like insanity cycles. It's insanity. Let's do it like that. I'm just kind of having a nice day, a change of mood. Thought I'd do an episode where I'm not fucking depressed. I'm in a good fucking mood. So here we are, guys. What happened? First of all, I made that my whole record collection episode, and it was like the audio went faster than the video, and I don't know why. If any of you know why, maybe that's happened to you. Maybe you do videos and it's like I tried to redo it. Get the beard down. I tried to redo it, and I didn't have time to get situated before the fucking show. I tried to redo it a billion times, and it's like I might be able to upload I might be able to upload another version, and I'm trying to figure out why it got like that, because it was exhausting to go through all that and take every record out of the case and show you guys all the little goodies inside and the lyric sheets and the this and that and the other and all that. And it's still very enjoyable. If you're a music head, you're gonna watch it anyway, because I got fucking gems in my collection, some bangers. You're gonna like it anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I watched it like 3 times because it goes through my whole collection. I don't got to sort through it, and it's interesting for me. So it's got to be interesting for you, not having this collection and not knowing about any of the records not knowing what I have in my collection. And I'm all over the place right now. And the thing is about it is I might do some more record shit with some other friends, but I went through my whole collection. I don't got like a billion records like maybe you thought I do. I don't know why you'd be thinking about if I do or not. What was I going to talk about today? That was my disclaimer, and it bothers me so much, that record episode, that I got to try to re-upload one of another version, but it might be less content. We use the word content now instead of shit or stuff. It might be less stuff on there. And so I was going to talk to you about insanity, mood fluctuations, shit like that. I don't use the word insanity lightly in this scenario, which I'll present you. It's not a specific scenario, but it's a concept. So here we've got and let's start with the extremes. We don't fuck around here on Crown of Thoughts. Let's start with the extremes and try to I'm going to try to unpackage this concept I had in my head earlier today. When I make these videos, generally I just had a thought and I hit the button, and so I'm thinking as I'm going. And so that should be interesting, I think, for you guys to watch it that way, because you're doing the same thing. I don't have a pre-written. I will occasionally. It's not a bad idea, but today I don't. And so I was thinking about this shit. I went hiking Cheeky's Rock today instead of Cowsler Park, my normal shit. I need to get a trim going on here. Only time I ever really look at my beard is when I do this shit. So the concept was insanity, I guess, to put it in a word. But let's take it to the extreme, like I had said. So, all right, let's go with the cocaine addict. There are people where it gets to the point where they don't even want the high. All they can think is white line, rolled dollar nose. White line, rolled dollar nose. Bam. All they want is to sniff that fucker. They don't even want the high. Their brain has been completely hijacked. Can't wait for the high to go away so they can sniff another one, because they can't just keep sniffing them all at the same time. They'll fucking go crazy. Die, probably. And this is a concept maybe you guys haven't really thought about. It's like the actual sniffling of the line is what they feel their life is for, because the dopamine gives you sense of purpose that you would get from normal day-to-day accomplishments. That doesn't mean you want to sit there and geek out. It means you're just like, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is your brain gets completely hijacked. Let's back that down a little bit to something you might better understand. Cigarettes. All right, let's say you're addicted to cigarettes. You smoke them constantly. Your stomach gets nauseous. You can't wait for your stomach to not be nauseous anymore so you can pop another one, smoke another one. You can't wait for that one to end so you can smoke another one. Chain smoking. It's the same concept. Let's take that and bring it down to where more of you could probably understand. You're eating a gigantic fucking meal at a restaurant. You're so stuffed. You get in the car, you go home, you're at home, and man, you're like, oh, dude, you're like loosen the belt, lay on the couch, like, man, my stomach hurts. And someone's like slaps a giant piece of cake in front of you. And you're like, dude, I can't wait for this food to digest so I can eat that cake. Can't eat it right now. A lot of you could probably relate to that. Went kind of buzzed right through there, that concept. But I wanted you guys to understand, with these extremes, where you hear about these fucked up people and these extremes and shit, you do the same thing. You just don't do it to that level. You're just not on that plateau. You know, you've all walked around, opened the fridge just because you're walking around and there's no food in there and you know it, or there's nothing you want and you know it, and you just close the fridge, walk to another room, walk right back, open the fridge, and you're like, why do I keep doing this shit? That's why. That same fucking thing, insanity. I'm gonna call it insanity, and I think that's appropriate. I know that word's thrown around a lot, but I think that's appropriate. Insanity pre-workout. I gotta get another tub of that shit. What was that talking about? All right, so what causes that? Lack of focus, lack of drive. I don't fucking know. Your brain's just been hijacked. You know, you need dopamine. You seek dopamine and serotonin. Those are what keep you going. And if you can get those without doing anything, then you're going to forget to do stuff. Like, come on. So chocolate is a good example too, for you guys like chocolate. I started with the extremes, and then I settled down to something everyone can understand. Everyone's eating carbs. You know, everyone's, you know, these things that you're just like, I want it. You know, like fucking McDonald's burger. You're not going to admit it to anyone. Let's go with Wendy's. All right. Yeah, fuck McDonald's. Wendy's. I have Wendy's right down the street. I know that shit's, I don't want to fucking know how they make that shit. Honestly, I really don't. Don't show me. Don't put a link of some documentary in there, so I'll never be able to eat that fucking slop again. I know, but it's there, and it's not. When you eat Wendy's, you're not like eating it to meet your nutritional needs. You're eating it because it's addicting. It's not like that food's any good for you. Earlier today, I cooked. Is it tilapia? I don't think it was tilapia or salmon. I cooked some fish and some vegetables on a pan with some coconut oil. Damn, that should be a Facebook post. Today I ate this. So this was something on the 2 episodes ago. Can there be motivation without pain? I called it. On that, I said I'm having issues doing, because of lack of motivation, I'm having issues doing day-to-day activities like cooking for myself and laundry and that type, and dishes and that type of shit. And I spoke a lot after that episode. I talked a lot about that type of shit with my therapist, and it's kind of starting to look like, and I was diagnosed in multiple times in high school. I was diagnosed with chronic depression. There's other names for it. One starts with a D. I don't know. Chronic depression, whatever. You know, I'm sure there's some mania thrown in there. So I don't know what you want to categorize it. It's me. But they have these categories to try to help. It's the same way of saying like, oh, there's other people like that have that issue. Here's how they dealt with it. I view psychology that way. Like you guys I hear a lot of people get all twisted up by, oh, they diagnose everyone with this and that. It's like, who gives a fuck? What they're trying to do is break shit down to figure out how to help. And yeah, you might disagree with the medications they give out and shit like that. I do too. I don't think Adderall should exist because, damn, dude, that shit's strong, and I used to use that. Stimulants, anything stimulant, I would do. An Adderall is strong shit. Holy fuck, man! I cannot believe that's the one that they allow. Like shit, man. I mean, it's less dangerous. It's not. Whatever. I'm getting off on a tangent here. What was I even talking about? Therapy, medication, depression. Okay, yeah. So she kind of like isn't allowed to diagnose me, I think, as a therapist. Maybe you gotta be some other fucking thing. But she's kind of like hinting at the fact that, yeah, you probably have that shit. And there's not a whole lot, like, I was like, is there like my worldview? I cannot tell if it's depression or if like I'm just seeing through a whole lot of bullshit lies that society pours on us. I can't tell the difference because they're both kind of like despair is the result. Like if you see, if you're like, oh dude, like the only reason that we really needed relationships is to evolve and survive and have like the woman nurture the child and the man go hunt animals. And back then women weren't mobile. They had to stay kind of put because there was no such thing as like tampons and no birth control or no nothing. They weren't super mobile. I mean, it's biology. It's not sexist. It's just the way it is. And so this thing was set up this way. That's where the roles come in. Nowadays we don't fucking need to multiply. We don't need to do none of that shit if we don't want to. And I'm like, so there's no point in a relationship. Why would I fucking want to waste and rot away with one other person the rest of my life? That sounds terrible. And I'm like, I see through all this fucking bullshit. And then it's like, okay, but Maybe you're just depressed and in a state of despair, and nothing and everything's meaningless to you. How do I know the difference? If this, like, if you, how do you know? You're not going to be able to know if you were, all right, let's suggest this diagnosis they gave me in high school was true and I have chronic depression. I definitely have all the symptoms that they describe, but I don't like to just label shit like that, because then it's something to people will say they have this or that because it makes them feel special, and then they have an excuse, and then they can walk around being like, I have depression, blah, 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 blah. Life's so tough for me. Fuck you. I don't like doing that shit, but I think it's becoming painfully obvious. I cannot be comfortable. I'm just kicking it. This is how I do. I think it's becoming painfully obvious that I probably have some constant low-grade depression, chronic depression, or whatever the fuck they call it. Because some of the moods I get in and some of the things I'll start to say are, when someone else hears them, they send off like a, oh, dude, you know, that sounds a little bit dark, man. And, you know, like, and I asked her, I'm like, so what should I do now? Because, you know, you can try antidepressants, but it's like, fuck, man. It's like it works for like 40% of the people that try them, and it takes so long to navigate all the variables involved. You can't just, it's not that easy. I mean, you can. And so anyway, so she's like, yeah, there's like, you know, I told her, like, maybe this is, I've just had a certain life worldview my whole life. Like, I wouldn't know any different. Like, how would you know if you personally are depressed? I don't think you can tell, because you've always been that way. If you've always been that way, if your life is just fucking horrible, you're not depressed. You just have a fucked up life. Now, when there's moods you're in and you can't figure out the reason, it's like, why do I just fucking feel this shit, this emptiness out of nowhere? That's what that shit is. If you got a terrible fucking life, I'm so sorry. I'm being serious. There are people that have horrible fucking lives. It's not their fault. Shit happens to good people, and it's like, off on a lot of tangents here. I got a lot of strings of thought going around. So let's say I was the insanity thing. All right, that's gonna come back around. The depression thing, that's gonna tie into that. And all right, so yeah, so I'm like, what do I do? I need to be able to, I don't know, because I went into this weird episode for like 3 days where I felt absolute despair and complete nothingness. And a part of me is like, you will not, a couple days from now, this will go away. And I don't fucking know why I know that. And so it's like, so it's like, and the fact that I can't tell if that's a mood or if that's a way I think about life. And so that's the issue. And I came up with the concept that, like, look, I'm gonna have to be able to monitor my moods, take notice of what's happening, why it's happening, when it's happening, and how I'm feeling. And she suggested I journal, which was the whole point of this crown of thoughts. That, yes, this whole thing was because I couldn't journal. That's why I started fucking doing this. That's why I'm always talking about personal shit, because it's a journal. And I actually watch myself. I can watch myself in like early episodes and be like, damn, I've made improvements. Because what I'm talking about now and what I talked about on the 2 episodes ago, I was talking about that same shit on an early episode called The Fog by John Carpenter. No, I did an episode called The Fog. And I called it The Fog. Whatever the fuck I'm talking about, I called it The Fog. And when I watched that one, I'm like, damn. I had no idea what the fuck to do about that. And now I'm running into that same problem. Still exists, but I'm learning how to describe it to myself and how to think about it, how to view it. And now I need to know how to deal with it. And I needed to know if it was real. Like, was that actually depression, or am I just so fucking smart that I can see through all your guys' bullshit you do on your day-to-day life? I'm gonna have to go with the first one, because when you live in society and you feel like you see through everything and it's all lie and you got the answers, you know more than the whole rest of society. I would not, logically, I wouldn't start there. I would start with you got, I lost my fucking thought, man. I would start with you. Probably have some kind of thing. So I started. All right. So monitor these moods, right? When a mood approaches, be like, is this is a mood? This is not just the way things are. Or is this a situation that I needed? Is it a situation or a mood? That's a good way to think about it. Yeah. Wow. And so like, try to monitor that shit and understand. And there's one thing I already know, as far as I've done this a little bit, and I know that when I have off work the next day, I get super excited. And it's party time in my head. There's like fucking fireworks going off in my brain, noisemakers, kazoos. Like, I want fucking rage. You know, it's like, fuck the world. Let's go nuts. Hurricane of madness. So I know if I have off work the next day, I've thought about it like this, Aaron. What's a easier problem to deal with? Being bored or fucking up your life? You know, sometimes it would be unbearable for me to sit still alone in a room with my thoughts. Completely unbearable. And so that's when I would get super hyper excited and go ballistic and do fucked up crazy shit. And I would have no impulse control. I was like out of body watching myself behave. And so now I'm learning to calm down and sit with those fucking thoughts and shit. And so I go back to the insanity part. So you can be chain smoking cigarettes. Blah, 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 blah. You can calm down a little bit. And then you could be like, oh, I eat too many chocolate bars. I don't know what to do. So you're taking a thing that you can do to excite yourself and feel a little bit of your, take up a little bit of your time, but you're making that the whole thing. You're making that the whole issue, and you need to have a core thing. Yes, a core thing that holds you together. But then what you want to do is you want to take that thing, lay it out here, and then put like some gingerbread around it. You know, a bunch of little things. You know, like I'm going to read Mary E. Young's Blossom and Bone book for like 15-20 minutes. And then I'm going to work on some reality horror records for like, that can consume me. I can go down rabbit holes with that shit. But let's just, for conversation, say 15-20 minutes. Then it's like, oh, I could throw a load of laundry in. I could do a couple of dishes and shit, and that's your gingerbread, man. That's your fucking, your well-rounded type shit. You don't have to, if you have one thing, you're going to obsess and get addicted and just, bam, one thing. And I call that Diamonds in Hell, the life of an addict. he's got diamonds in hell, man. He's life is hell, and he's finding them fucking diamonds anywhere he can. You see that fucking fly thing? You guys saw that, right? There it is. How come I can see it in the... Oh, there we go. And so I call that diamonds in hell. And to be well-rounded, to calm down, to take notice of these moods, be aware of what's happening. Inside your head. And it's not easy it's a long road. It's a long, hard road out of hell. But it's a long, hard road out of hell. And Marilyn Manson does that, but wasn't that a cover song? Like Danzig or some shit? Who was that? I know Manson did that. I seen the video when I was younger, but I swear that's a cover song. Maybe I could be wrong. But it's a long, hard road out of hell. And I'm starting to see these stages, and I'm trying to drop this shit on you guys so maybe you don't have to take as long. You know, if you watch the fucking... There's the fucking Tragic Hope episode where I broke up with fucking the coolest person ever. And it was pretty much when I realized that I'm in no condition. I'm in no condition to be really fucking helping anyone or doing anything productive. Like, I just blew it, you know. And it was like, anyway, so there's that episode where you seen me like realize, oh shit, I can't just keep goofing off. And it's not funny anymore. And then I keep going and I try to come up with more theories and ideas, like when I did the Ruminating Thoughts Part 2. And Ruminating Thoughts was my cry for help. That was episode 1. And I didn't know what I was talking about either. I'll never really know what I'm talking about 100%. I'm kind of like mulling things over in my head. On tape, on film, on video, on YouTube, whatever the fuck. And so right now I'm doing that, and I'm thinking like, what's going on, like the progression of my improvements, and what comes next, and what strategies should I use next. And like I've got, so I started progressing and coming up with ideas and stuff. And I was technically right in the Ruminating Thoughts Part 2. The answer to my problems is just to do shit. But that's pretty simplified. And I think in my head I came up with the idea, but I didn't know how to articulate it. And then so I kept trying. The God Consciousness episode, I was like, you know, I can't just suck the life out of all these singular emotions. I gotta try to combine all of these emotions into one and be more stoic. And that's what that episode was about. And then I kept going, and I'm trying now to keep improving, always, indefinitely. There's no end to your improvements. You could have no fucking idea where you could be a couple years from now. I'm excited to see where I am a year from now, because where I was a year ago was some whole fucked up shit. And so I would like to say it doesn't take that much time, but I mean, in the big scheme of things, when you're right in the thick of it, it takes forever. So what I'm getting at now is the insanity or the addiction. Your brain's been hijacked. Even you normal people that aren't addicted to drugs, you're addicted to shit. You live in this society, you're addicted to sugar. I guarantee it. If you're on keto, good for you. because you should. That's technically how you're supposed to eat. Going back to archaic times and hunter-gatherer times, they didn't fucking sit around eating carbs. Are you fucking crazy? They might have ate like an apple or a banana. I don't know where bananas. I don't know where everything comes from, but fruit has lots of sugar. That's like, I make the argument fruit's actually not good for you. You want to duke it out on that one? Let's go. I don't think it is. I don't think sugar is good for you, or I don't think fruit is actually good for you. I just think it's not fucking candy and cheeseburgers, so it's better than that. I don't think it's good for you, really. I think meat and vegetables is your fucking ticket. I digress. You're all addicted to shit, all right? You're all addicted to shit. You know it. Or you don't know it, but whatever. But the addiction comes from not being well-rounded. That's what it comes from. You need that gingerbread, man. You can't just have the fucking one thing. You can't put all your eggs in one basket. You'll spend all your time in that basket. These metaphors are getting fucked up. But you know, it's like, that's kind of what I had in my mind. I don't know how cohesive I laid it out for you. I'm not quite sure what you're going to gather from this. I hope this was helpful. And was there a grand point to this that I was thinking about earlier today that I wanted to make? Hear me tapping on the floor? Was there like some actual point other than just trying to spill all this shit out of my head so I can have it written down or in audio format? There was, I think that's really it, is like, I notice when, because of the cigarettes and trying to cut the cigarettes back, I told myself only go outside to smoke. And I went outside. This is where it started. And I went outside and lit a cigarette up. And I'm like, I don't fucking want this thing. Just flicked it off and went back inside. And I realized I don't like cigarettes. I don't fucking like them at all. I smoke them out of anxiety. And the reason I do that is so I can do nothing. If like you're listening to music and this is a big thing with people that make music or edit music like me. You're waiting for the shit. You're sitting there waiting for different things all day long, different sounds to hit and different portions to chop up and throw around and edit and different sound effects and shit. And you're just sitting there all day and like the cigarettes. And the reason you do that is because so you can keep doing something that's monotonous. And so I didn't want to say boring. That's kind of what I was getting at, but I love doing that shit. But let's say you're not really doing a whole lot. That's why you're going to smoke all them cigarettes. And then if you go outside, for me, like when I went outside, it's like, now I'm outside. I'm doing something. I don't fucking want the damn cigarette. So I'm going to get rid of, those are the next to go. Those are the next to go, the cigarettes. And so what I'm starting to realize is that you got to be more well-rounded and you got to calm down and think ahead and think about, like, what's the consequences? Do I actually like rolling my dollar up and blowing lines of coke? Do I actually like chain smoking cigarettes? Do I actually like killing all this beer? The beer thing you probably like, okay. There's something about alcohol that does not get old. I'll stop talking because you all guys are all going to want to drink, but you know, like I'm coming up on a year of no alcohol, not one fucking drop. I couldn't tell you the actual amount of time, but it's going to be a year. Damn, dude. Like, that's fucking phenomenal. I've never gone a year without drinking. No, I mean, obviously when I was younger, but it's like, that's really good. And so now that there's things that I needed to stop doing. Yes, JP, you were right. There's things that I needed initially to stop doing. Think right now, bam, you know what you need to stop. That's hard to do. Tackle that fucking shit. Then you need to learn how to sit alone with yourself without freaking the fuck out, or you're going to run right back to doing those things. Now, and I'm still at that part, learning to sit alone in a room with my thoughts. It's like the last thing I'm trying to do. Fuck that. But I'm learning to do that. And then so you need to stop doing things. You need to learn to be comfortable with yourself. And then there's things you need to start doing. And that's how it works, man. There's things now that I need to start doing, and I think that's the step I'm gonna take. Meal prep. I'm burning through my money eating at restaurants. Meal prep. Have food through the week. When I go to work, have my lunch. Make sure I always have clean clothes washed. It sounds stupid, maybe not. Maybe all you guys deal with this shit. It's like you all have to fucking do these things, and it's like, and when I wake up, and it's like, only shirts that I have are like good ones that I don't want to wear to work, or just shirts I like that I don't want to wear to work. And it's like, where are my fucking work shirts? It's like, you didn't wash them, bro. They all smell like work. Now you got to wear a fucking shirt you don't want to work. It's stupid shit like that. Like, and if you like have everything laid out ahead of time right before you go to bed and you wake up, it's going to take you 10 minutes to get ready for work. And if you got enough sleep, it's going to take you fucking 10 minutes, dude. As opposed to like, anyway, so there's things I need to start doing. There's things I stopped doing already. There's things I already stopped doing. Good for me. Let's go. There's things that I still need to stop doing. I still am smoking cigarettes. Cigarettes Anonymous. At Cigarettes Anonymous, do they drink alcohol? So that's next. I don't even like them. I know that now. I was never a huge cigarette guy, and I damn well know it's not a big deal for me to let go of them. It's really not. It's just a whole lot of shit I've been going through, and that's kind of why I actually just started smoking them when I was making my improvements. And so there, I know I need to stop doing some shit. I need to get more comfortable with being bored. I'm going to say bored, so I need to stop getting so excited that I forget what the fuck's important. I need to spend more time with my loved ones. One person in particular that I need to take better care of. And I don't really like talking about people. There's certain people that I can name, and then there's certain things about family and shit like that. I'm not fucking it's personal shit, but there's like, and most of my friends don't want to be fucking name dropped, and that's not what I'm here to do. And some of them don't give a fuck, like Pat. I'll drop his name in every goddamn episode. What up, bro? Oh, fuck. What am I talking about? All right, so I dropped some shit. I got a little more comfortable with myself. I got in touch with some of my loved ones that I desperately needed to. That they desperately needed me. And that's fucking probably the most important thing, but that's not enough because I still am a wreck. Emotionally, I'll say. And so it's like, now there's things I need to start doing, and they're not difficult things. Like even if you're in debt, it's just math problems. You know how to do math. No one's coming to fucking kill you. There's no saber-toothed tiger from the IRS waiting outside your window to rip your fucking head off. It's math. It's mathematics, man. If you don't got the money now, figure out the math. And then there's like the getting used to doing normal day-to-day shit. It's just not me. I've never done that. And so that's my next step. And today I did that. And so you guys all got your little things and your issues you need to work on, and maybe you've not thought about some of the stuff I've said, and you're like, oh shit, I never even, and maybe you have, and maybe you don't need any of this advice, and maybe I helped you out a lot. But one thing I do know is this is a fucking kick-ass episode of Crown of Thoughts. I'm your host, Double A. Hope you guys got something out of this one. Insanity.